Yield myself such time as I may consume.
Without objection.
For anyone watching this debate for the 11th time who isn't familiar with the substantive reasons to oppose this legislation, I would refer them to my earlier remarks numerous times on the floor of the House because in the interest of time, I'm not going to repeat them. I am going to say that I am pleased that this is actually a big step forward and for the other side of the aisle in the House, because there are two critical changes that the Senate made, which go to a raging debate on the Republican side of the aisle here in the House, and that is whether or not climate change is real or a hoax. So by voting for this bill today, you are going to endorse language saying that climate change is real and not a hoax. So I think that's tremendous progress for the Republican side of the aisle, who I expect will be supporting this bill, to accept the reality of climate change, and I'm thrilled that that's in there, and their votes will be reflected in the record as endorsing that language. Secondly, one of the other substantive issues we've raised numerous times is that this foreign corporation will not, because of a bizarre ruling by the Internal Revenue Service, will not be paying into the trust fund, which goes to mitigate pipeline spills and breaks and cleanups, the Oil Spill Liability Trust Fund. And we have offered that as a motion to recommit numerous times here on the floor, thinking it would be a reasonable thing to level the playing field between U.S. producers shipping oil and Canadian companies shipping oil, which is going to be exported from the United States, perhaps after it's refined. And so, again, this will be a shift on the Republican side of the aisle, because you will be voting for language that says Congress should approve a bill to ensure that all forms of bitumen or synthetic crude oil derived from bitumen are subject to the per-barrel excise tax associated with the Oil Spill Liability Trust Fund, which would be, I think, the first time the Republican side has endorsed any sort. Well, no, there was a tax increase for inland waterway users buried in that bill in December. But this will be only the second time the Republicans here have voted to increase a tax, and I'm really thrilled to see that. And the fact that we will be writing that in equity, and essentially the Republicans will be endorsing something we have offered numerous times on the floor. The third thing, which really isn't an improvement, is some senators stuck in language saying that when this foreign corporation takes American citizens' private property against their will, they have to follow the Constitution. Well, unfortunately, because of the Kelo decision, which we did try a number of years ago to clarify and overturn, the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, has ruled that you can yield the right for economic development purposes to a private entity to take people's private property. We are going one step, or you are going one step further here by actually giving that authority to a foreign corporation. As far as I know, the first time in the history of the United States of America that a foreign corporation will have the right to take private property from an American citizen against their will. So that isn't an improvement, just saying follow the Constitution because of the ruling by the Supreme Court. But the other two are great. Climate change exists. You're endorsing that implicitly by voting for this bill. And we should increase taxes and impose taxes on this tar sands oil. Again, I think a big breakthrough for the other side. So I still won't be voting for the bill. Stand on the previous concerns I've raised. Those are all still extant. But these things will be worthy of noting. With that, I would. Am I reserving? Well, okay. I'm now asking unanimous consent that the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Pallone, be allowed to control my time in addition to the time controlled by the Committee on Energy and Commerce. Good luck.
Without objection. The gentleman from New Jersey reserves, and the gentleman from Pennsylvania is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I now yield